CLNS Media Patriots Roundtable. I'm your host, Nick Quias, and I'm here with Mike Molyneux. This is the second week we're going to talk about this guy, but last week we talked about fantasy football implications because that was an interesting topic to get into because, everybody plays fantasy football, and he was a very interesting pickup. Now, I'm going to say this. Did I get him? Yes, I did. Did I bid absolutely almost nothing with my waiver bucks? Yeah, I did. So I got him at a steal. Put him in my flex this week. When that guy dropped a touchdown pass and I got points, oh, it was a beautiful thing to watch. Jakobi Meyers. Jakobi Meyers for, I want to say the third week, put up a very solid game. And when you look at the stat line isn't crazy. It's except for the Jets game where he's put up an insane amount with 100 yards. But this week, 5 receptions, 59 yards. And then against the Bills, it was 6 receptions. I think it was something around 58 yards. So Jakobi Meyers is emerging. He's emerging into a legitimate threat for this football team. And Mike, the question is Jakobi Meyers the real deal, or is this just a flash in the pan, a couple of good games, and he's going to fall back off into what we saw from him for the majority of last year and early on this year when he did play? What do you think?
Jakobi Meyers is a keeper that the Patriots should definitely hold on to. I know they've had their ups and downs and a lot of downs when it comes to, getting undrafted free agents or drafting wide receivers. The Patriots have seen a lot of downtimes at that position, but Jakobi Meyers is a keeper. Still very young in his career. Again, the story with Jakobi Meyers, we all know it and heard it by now. Oh, what a preseason he had with Jared Stidham last year. And, the guy was in preseason games. And preseason games, do they mean a lot overall? No, but for guys trying to make the team or earn a spot, they're huge. And Jakobi Meyers was put in the position during the preseason last year to excel, and he excelled. Him and Stidham had a great connection, and he seemed like a great guy. Once the regular season got started, he was behind in the depth chart. And on top of that, you knew Tom Brady wasn't looking for him much. That's just Tom Brady and the way he's comfortable with certain guys and his trust level. He wasn't really looking for
one of the most frustrating things with Tom Brady is once you screwed up, it was over.
Yeah, especially if you're screwed up on a route or something and you're a young guy, Tom Brady just loses faith and confidence in you. So that hurt Jakobi Meyers in his young career. But from the flashes we've got and the opportunities that he's really gotten, this is a kid who shows that with the opportunity and the confidence, he can perform. Is he an elite wide receiver? Like, does he have amazing leaping ability or great breakaway speed? Or it's nothing like that, but he just seems as if he can turn into being a reliable receiver, someone you could depend upon. One of those guys who we've seen throughout the years in the Patriot system, who if you need a catch, you can head that direction. And again, he's still young. There's a lot of development still to take place, but he is seeming like, with this Patriots offense who doesn't have a lot of weapons and don't really have a lot of guys you can depend upon in terms of wide receivers, he's seeming like the one standout. Now, granted, is he getting maybe more looks because Edelman's not in the picture? Maybe, probably. Even when Edelman was healthy, he was still missing a lot of snaps. Is he getting some extra looks because N'Keal Harry's been in and out of the lineup? I'm telling you, I watched that game against the Ravens, and N'Keal Harry, for the most part, was a non-factor. It was mainly the
non-existent again.
Non-existent, and he was out there, but it was mainly the run game and a lot of Jakobi Meyers. And it seems as if Cam Newton has found that connection, that chemistry, that right now is his go-to guy. I don't care if Edelman's healthy. I don't care if N'Keal's healthy. Jakobi Meyers is looking like Cam's go-to guy. And I feel as if the more snaps he gets, the more confidence he builds in his young career. I think, like I said, Jakobi Meyers is a keeper for the New England Patriots.
You got it. I mean, like, this team, other than Julian Edelman, who was the reliable receiver, Bird, I think he was okay. And I think he was very solid and decent this year. And I think I don't think he gets the praise that he does deserve, because for a little while, it was like he was the only guy catching passes from Cam Newton.
True.
So I think Bird doesn't get the appreciation that he deserves. But when you look at a really reliable receiver for this team, for the most part, it was old, broken down Julian Edelman. You love Julian Edelman. He's the best. But This guy over his career just taken a beating, and we're starting to see, and we started to see it over the past couple seasons, but we're really starting to see what that beating led to, and now he's broken down. So you can't continue to use only Julian Edelman because the guy's not going to make it through the season. Now, you add Jakobi Meyers into the mix, now you've got two guys. Would you like more than two guys? Yeah, you would. But Jakobi Meyers is proving that he is a reliable weapon for Cam Newton. And Cam Newton is showing that he trusts him. Now, going back to what we said about Tom Brady, last preseason, we saw this kid. And we were like, wow, Jakobi Meyers, I hope he makes the roster. He's looking real good, makes the roster. Had a lot of promise for him. Makes a couple mistakes early on, as an undrafted rookie might. And Tom just forgot about him. Tom just said, I am not throwing to this guy anymore.
Yeah.
So I wish that we saw more of that last year. I wish we saw Jakobi develop a little bit more this last year, but he did develop over the offseason. Clearly, he's having a very solid season over these past couple of games, at least these past few games. So having that second guy is going to be pivotal with this offense, and especially important when you can add an aerial attack when the run game is playing the way they are.
Ooh, Damian Harris is looking legit. And Burkhead, I think, is probably having, his best season as a Patriot. And James White is still as reliable as he's been all year. And Cam does his things per usual. But if you can have at least two, maybe three guys that you can depend on with the aerial attack, this offense, is it one of the most elite in the NFL and the AFC? No. But you figure that Josh McDaniels and Belichick, they had a little couple tricks up their sleeves against the Ravens, so
Right. I mean, we saw the Jakobi Meyers pass. That was awesome. That got me a good chunk of fantasy football points. But another area of this team that we have to give a shout out to, again, going back to the run game and making this a dual threat offense, at least for the first time. For the most part, it's just been a run attack. But the offensive line has been solid this year. A healthy Isaiah Wynn has been solid. Joe Tooney, we know that guy's talented. Yes. David Andrews, the whole offensive line has been playing very well. I mean, we saw that Pro Football Focus graphic that went up on Sunday night, and they're just performing, which has been huge for this run game, huge, and for the protection of Cam when he does decide to pass.
Yeah, man, health is on the side of the offensive line this year. We've seen the last couple of years, guys have been shuffling in and out. For the most part, I know Andrews missed a few games there, but for the most part, these guys have been healthy throughout the course of the season. And if your starters are healthy, your horses are healthy, then, it'll lead to some success for the run game for sure. And we're seeing that week in and week out.
So overall, Jakobi Meyers, I think he's on track to be the real deal, but there's still plenty of time to watch and to make that final decision. For right now, he's the real deal in my eyes.
Number one receiver, yep.
Number one receiver. But as we've seen with plenty of athletes, things can change in a hurry. So cautiously optimistic, I would say. CLNS Media, Patriots Roundtable, Nick Quaglia, Mike Molyneux. Guys, we're going to be back next week with Marvazon back in the fold as well. Just could not make it tonight. Again, Nick Quaglia, Mike Molyneux. Guys, follow us on Twitter. Garrett's got our Twitter handles. If not now, he has at least put them up at some point in the show. Guys, thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. And also, if you were listening to this on iTunes, subscribe to iTunes as well. Again, Nick Quaglia, Mike Molyneux. Guys, we'll be back next week. Thanks for watching.